Welcome to this LinkedIn live stream. We're super excited to have you here today. With us is Simon Schumann, who's a certified Mind Studio developer, and his colleague, Jabalani Chibaya, who's here. They're both going to be talking about AI, particularly taking us through some of the ways in which they've been using Mind Studio for some really interesting use cases related to a huge variety of applications, actually. But Simon, how are you doing today? Jabalani, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Peter. Thanks for having me on. It's quite exciting. I've been looking forward to this one.
Jabalani,
how are you doing?
Oh, maybe having a bit of a connection issue there. No worries. Simon,
No worries.
As we're waiting, on that
Sure.
connection issue, Simon, could you just take me through your background and relationship with Mind Studio? How did you first discover it? My background here is as a partner of Mind Studio. I'm founder of The Upgrade, which co-administers the Mind Studio Academy, which is dedicated to customer education and support and the developer certification program. Simon is one of the very first, if not the first, certified developer through our program.
Yeah, that was amazing. I tell you, and I did it for my country. First one in Zimbabwe and first one in Africa, and we were also the first implementation partners, and for Africa as well. So huge privilege, great privilege. I discovered Mind Studio last year in August, watching some YouTube videos. Watching Dimitri presenting the it was UAI at the time. Okay, so and I was like, wow, this is incredible. I was always looking for good AI tools, and when I found UAI back then, I literally commented on the video and I said, I'm dropping everything now and I'm doing Mind Studio. That's all I'm doing, and I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I stuck to my guns and this determination and not giving up. They then got hold of me and asked me if I'd like to consult to them, and I was pretty thrilled to do that. So that's how AI Creative Solutions was born. So we've been doing developer support for Mind Studio and sort of application optimization for all the clients that need support and optimization. So that's where I've been sharpening my skills. Iron sharpens iron, and I think that's how I really got involved with Mind Studio, and I haven't looked back. I've taken an approach to AI in terms of how we can really use it at an enterprise level. I think it's great to be able to use it for marketing and for education and everything, but I wanted to go a little bit deeper and see where we can fit AI into workflows and how the processes work with AI and how we can get different results at different stages of a workflow that are very, very tailored to industry. And I think it's taken me a while, but we got there, hey? We got there. I developed the Farm Brain under your tutelage, and thank you very much for having me there.
Yeah, Simon, your work with Mind Studio has been super impressive, and thank you for coming in, really as a mentor and a guest lecturer in our Mind Studio Academy courses and our developer program. I know you have a bit to share as well in terms of what you've been building, Farm Brain in particular. But let's see, I see Jabalani here. Can you hear us? Might be continuing to have some technical difficulties there.
Technical problems.
Looks like you dropped from the stream again.
Okay.
We'll move forward here, and Simon, I know you have a couple things that you wanted to share related to some of your work with Mind Studio to develop, really sophisticated and impressive AI assistants and automations.
Correct. Yeah. So look, as I say, I've been looking for solutions to real enterprise issues. So when I was an auditor, I remember quite a long time ago at a transport company, they had piles and piles and piles of these transportation logs, and they were all handwritten. And I had to try and audit the stuff, and it was a complete nightmare. So I think about 3 weeks ago, I thought, you know what, let me do an AI that could have tackled that problem, and I did that, and I was blown away by the results. To be honest with you, because when we develop AIs, we kind of get complacent in a way, like, okay, the large language model is going to do this and it's going to do that. We kind of know what the models are going to do already because we've been using them for so long, but sometimes they drop you gems, I tell you. And like when I asked the AI to actually audit its own processes, it was giving suggestions on literally, let's get the driver back inside and let's quiz him about the trip. Okay, he's given half information, but the AI has like picked up on so much more because of how we've programmed it and how we asked it to audit itself. So we then linked it through to Trello and to Notion, and we created sort of hidden layers of accountability, so that managers and stakeholders could actually get reports into Trello workspaces, for example, based on a single report, and the audits of the trip. And then we would have the same thing going off to workshops. So your maintenance guys would get a report. So check the fuel tank. You know what I'm saying? Check the tires. There was a blowout on the road. Has there been a police report filed? That's just like, it sounds basic, but when you're looking at missing information inside forms, it's amazing. You don't have to, the drivers don't have to sort of sit there and fill out the user inputs. Well, they can. It's like a web form, all right. But also, you can also use OCR, which is the optical. Sorry, what is OCR? OCR is the optical character recognition. Yes, that's what you can do. So you take photographs of it, run it through GPT-4 Vision. You get you instruct GPT-4 Vision to extract the text, and then use it from there further on down the chain in terms of your variables and your audit reports and that sort of thing. So that's what we've done.
Tell me about, this specific AI use case. So it sounds like you're working with law enforcement agency in this case, or who is your client, or what was the project about? Can you set the stage for us?
Okay, back then it was a transport company.
Okay.
It was a transport company, yeah. So it was an EY audit. That I used to work for EY in the late 90s into the early 2000s. That's how I sort of got my eye for processes and systems. When you're an auditor, that's what you're doing, and it helps a lot. But I think you don't have to be an AI expert to use Mind Studio, and that's an amazing. It's a huge plus, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. No, there's so many powerful capabilities, and really no coding knowledge required at all. So Simon, would love to see kind of what you've been building and maybe peek under the hood, so to speak, at one of your Mind Studio AIs, and perhaps you can walk us through it.
Sure thing. Can you activate my screen? It is showing.
Yeah, and
Great.
let's see if I can make it bigger here. It looks pretty
Right.
small. Perhaps we can remove ourselves from the screen for a minute to be able to show that bigger. Let's see. Looks like, see, yep, perfect. Yeah, that works.
Okay. Are we in now?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Great. Perfect. So this is the farm brain which we developed, and we're gonna have one onboarding question, and I'm gonna say, okay, which country and zone you located? We are in. I'm gonna make it up. We're in Beatrice, Zimbabwe. Right now, the the AI is going to know a lot about the area in terms of weather conditions, soil conditions, etc. This is a basic welcome screen. We can just skip through this. And now we will go into our first menu. And once again, I like demoing the diagnosis and recommendations. So let's go into here. Right. First of all, the AI is going to ask us to provide detailed symptoms that you're observing, including the part of the plants affected, the severity, pattern, and progression over time. I have these pre done, so I will just copy and paste them in, Peter. I don't have time to type them all out. It can be quite time consuming. So the farmer or an agronomist will sort of enter these user inputs, and it'll pass them on to the large language models. And I'll explain afterwards how we can actually optimize this with our own data. So next, we're going to be asked to assess environmental factors, outline details on weather, lighting, temperatures, humidity, field, greenhouse conditions, irrigation, water, media if applicable, and any environmental abnormalities that could be causing crop issues. Once again, I'll just paste in the environmental factors. So we just literally saying, okay, the weather's dry and cool. The daytime high is around 25 degrees Celsius. Humidity, field conditions, irrigation, water, media, not applicable because it's growing in soil. No recent frost or strong winds. Next. Any other any other changes made to fertigation program, pests or vegetation control, any other possible details that may be affecting the plant's growth, health, or vitality? Right. I want to copy and paste.
So this AI, it looks right now pretty similar to some sort of, classic AI chatbot, but it's something that you've made custom with a lot of your own prompts, and I'm sure we'll see behind the scene in a minute. But explain how this is different from something like a Chat GPT, right, or custom GPT or something. This is something I'm getting a question from.
Of course. I actually did a blog post about this about 2 weeks ago in terms of how it is like far better than ChatGPT. ChatGPT it's a single language model. Inside here, I'm using GPT-4. I'm using Claude Haiku, and I have also got Gemini somewhere tucked away as well. So Mind Studio is model agnostic. You can choose any model and use any model that you need to use inside there, primarily because they all give slightly different results. So we have to know which models do what. Okay, so we also have workflows, and the workflows can be have individual prompts, and based on variables from the previous output and results. So the whole way along the workflow, you're getting these little mini agents that have got different functions, and you can add special functions in as well. You can connect to SQL databases. You can connect to Zapier. You can generate images within the workflow. So there's so much more that you can do with Mind Studio, and it's incredibly flexible and powerful. And this is where we have many little chatbots all along the workflow process. That's how I see it. And these are mini agents. They've all got little tasks to do, and each step of the task, your results can be sent off to different parts, different databases, different workspaces, Google Teams, Slack. The list is endless, Notion, etc. Um, right, I'm going to press next if I can. Right. Finally, it's going to ask me for the current month and season. Right. We are now in it's May. It's May 2024. And we are in autumn. And in America, you guys say fall. So I'm gonna say autumn, early winter. So now this is gonna run a differential diagnosis. And it's gonna give us our first output will be the highest probability, and then secondary it will be what's second in line, what could be causing it. So Peter, this is going to take a minute or two because it's quite a long workflow, and there's quite a bit of a send off as well to a Trello workboard, a Trello workspace. So do you want to jump in with some of the questions in the meantime?
Sure. Yeah. First of all, my question is, so who is the ideal user for this AI, for example, that you've built? And really impressive that you're integrating all these separate AI models, as you mentioned, right? GPT-4. You mentioned Gemini, and I think also Claude Haiku. Super cool. And
Yes.
so these take a little bit longer to generate responses because of all the different models that are in the background here, but it looks like it is ready.
It is working. It's working
Yep,
through now.
yep.
Yeah, I think also probably find my internet's lagging a little bit as well. It's not this slow usually, but there's quite a lot to do in the workflow. There's quite a lot of save message to variables and
Sure, and we're live, so there's that.
And we're live too, so
yeah,
but it's not a problem. I'll just hit a refresh. The output should be there. In fact, there it is. Right. So we have a comprehensive differential diagnosis report for potato crop in Beatrice, Zimbabwe. The initial assessment, based on the data provided, a number of potential diagnoses have been evaluated below. There is a varying degree of probability attached to each diagnosis, considering the local geographic and climatic conditions, as well as the current plant symptoms. And it's actually correctly diagnosed it as early blight. That is something that I had looked into beforehand, and diagnosing live is quite a risk, but I don't have to worry about that because it has gone and diagnosed correctly. So it will give us the other diagnosis inside. Then we have the diagnostic analysis. So it's kind of telling you why it is diagnosing it as such. Scrolling down further, it's going to give us recommended tests, right? Go get a leaf tissue analysis done. Go get soil testing done. Get a fungal culture, all right? Send it up to the labs. PCR testing as well, right? Then it's going to give us the recommended treatment. So early blight, application of a broad spectrum fungicide such as mancozeb. Another one I can't pronounce the name. I'm not even going to try live. It's highly recommended follow the label instructions for application rates and intervals. It gives us climate change adaptation strategies, economic considerations, alternative solutions, right? And finally, a conclusion. So when I go next, we're going to go to another menu, and we can actually consult a specialist AI about this report. So I'm going to do that quickly. And let's just go to pathology and disease. Now, Claude Haiku, which is a skinnier model, it's a much skinnier model than GPT-4, is actually going to expand on a meaty, if I can call it that word, on a meaty report from from GPT-4. So,
Very cool.
yeah. So
Multiple
this
models
is
here, really complex, and it appears, I'm no domain expert in agriculture, but it appears that, these results are, uh, you know, very accurate and more reliable than anything you would get from even one individual AI model, right?
no, absolutely right. So it's kind of saying the same thing again, but it's just going into a bit more depth. And what's cool about this now is that we're going to go into chat mode with this agricultural specialist. So I'm going to ask it. I'm going to say, what are organic methods to treat? Now, if there's any agricultural experts out there, you know, I'm sorry if I'm asking the wrong questions, but I'm going to go ahead and ask this anyway. What are organic methods to treat early early blight
Mm-hmm.
in potatoes? Right. Now, I'm going to go into a full-on conversation with an agronomist, an AI agronomist, basically. Well, actually, a pathologist. So um, here are some organic methods that can be effective in treating early blight. Biological control agents. Um, those are words I can't pronounce, but Bacillus subtilis. This bacterium can be applied as a fungicide to suppress the growth of Alternaria solani.
Mm.
Right. So
We're
it's just
getting
going
a
to give.
great question from a LinkedIn user now who's asking, are these models fine-tuned for agriculture specifically, or, how are you getting these, outputs that
Okay.
are so tailored to this use case?
Okay. So basically, we use correct commands. Inside the workflows, at each stage, we are prompting the model to go through and dig out all the information it has to dig out, how it's going to respond. So it's going to get all that information, and now we're fine tuning it to say, respond like this, give us these diagnoses, um, give us these recommendations. So I think it's not that the models are not, we are depending on large language models, but we are fine tuning this AI application to be able to give us those outputs, and we can actually make a much more powerful AI. I think I had alluded to it earlier on, with your own data. So
Right.
perhaps I can jump into another screen. In
Yeah.
the
Let's
meantime,
dive into perhaps the editor, or I don't know what you had in mind, but it would be fun to
I'm
show
going to jump into the editor.
yeah, awesome.
Right. So
Behind the
can
scenes.
you see this?
Not yet. Try sharing again here. Now we
Right.
can.
There we go.
Right. So what are we looking at, Simon? First of all, this
Right.
is the Mind Studio Editor, which is, the no-code platform for building the AI that Simon just demonstrated. And, at a glance, there's a lot going on here. You'll see that, this is what we call in the center the automations canvas. So each one of these blocks represents a separate step in this AI automations process, right? And it's very
Exactly.
visual. Yeah. On the left-hand side here, we have what's called the Explorer, where you can see all the individual files. You can upload, data sources and use RAG, for example, retrieval augmented
Correct.
generation, to further optimize, those responses, as you alluded to, Simon. But this is, the no-code editor here, where you're able to build these very sophisticated AI tools and assistants. And Simon, take it from here. Tell us about
Sure.
this specific one.
Okay. So, um, right. We have the second line over here, which was our diagnostic branch. And first up, you can see we had our first display, which was basically a welcome screen. Then we go into a menu, and the menu it will direct us off to whichever branch we want to go to. So we chose diagnosis and recommendations, and I know the branch. It's this one that runs down this way, the second on the left. So Our very first step in the workflow is a user input. It was asking for symptoms. The next step was asking for environmental factors. The next step was other changes, and the final step was the month and season. So these are the on the left hand side. These are the user inputs that we create, and I'll show you what the symptoms is here, right? So the symptoms is provide detailed symptoms you're observing, including parts of the plant affected, severity, pattern, and progression over time. So we save this as a variable called symptoms, right? Now, further on, in a send message automation, I've got a quite a complex prompt going on here. This is a command that I'm sending to the large language model, but it's pulling up the symptoms, environmental factors, other changes, month and season, and your location is all being used as context, being shipped off in conjunction with your main prompt, right? That's being shipped off to the large language model, and it comes back. It comes back to you as the report that we've asked it to generate. Okay, so
Awesome.
after this, it's gonna run through a Zapier special function, right? And you can see this is the report. It's been sent off to Trello. Um, my Trello board will be opening up in a second. Um,
So you're
is
saying
it?
not
Is
only
it?
do you have, these abilities to, interact with a chat session and, get these revisable uh, outputs, but this is also integratable with third-party software here, like Trello.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And
Great.
yeah, look, it's highly flexible, highly powerful, and this is what we do as AI creative solutions in Zimbabwe. And we're not limited to agriculture by any means. We are developing educational apps, Peter. Um,
Great.
and can I stop sharing?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
Sure.
sure.
For those who are interested in learning more about Mind Studio, in particular, the tool that Simon has been demonstrating here, we're going to drop that link here in the chat. You can go to uai.ai to visit their website. And if you're interested in learning more, they have great documentation, amazing YouTube channel. Um, the Upgrade, which is my company, is the co-partner in the Mind Studio Academy. So we offer certifications for developers to be able to go through live courses with us and get support, ongoing live office hours and things to help people become ready to go out into the real world business environments. A lot of agencies, for example, well, just like Simon and his company are using Mind Studio to address real world business problems. So we prepare students for getting right into the market using these tools to be able to solve real world business challenges. And that's our goal. I'll also drop the link to the Mind Studio Academy.
Sure. Yeah. So um, I think yeah. So we are developing educational apps as well, Peter. And Peter's gone.
Oh, I am here.
Uh,
Sorry about that.
you are there. How much longer do you have? I can go on all night long.
Yeah, I know we could talk all day about this. We're gonna have to have you back on, Simon, I think, and hopefully we can get Jabalani here as well with some better, audio and video next time. But let's
I
drop the
think
link for
if
now.
you have a minute, I think I just need to touch on one or two things
Sure.
because a lot of our users came on because we want to use AI in terms of transforming um, enterprises in Zimbabwe, especially after our sanctions have been lifted. And if you look at Mind Studio and the power of this, you can build legal tools, auditing tools. Um, it's just amazing. And look, I think if you want to get hold of me, you can get hold of me at aicreative.solutions. That's our website. Or you can email me at simon@aicreative.solutions, and we can take you through the steps in terms of integrating AI into your workflows and your businesses.
Awesome.
Peter,
Yeah,
thanks for having me on, man.
our pleasure here. Yeah, Sheldon, thanks for hosting this behind the scenes today. Wonderful to be here, and we're here every week, every Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time, 12:30 p.m. Eastern time here. What time is it for you, Simon? Hope you have a
It's 7 p.m.
awesome. Well, great to have this live demo and answer some questions here. Thanks for joining us, for those here in the chat, and we will conclude this session for now.
Right.
Thanks for your time, everyone, and go ahead and check out uai.ai to see Mind Studio. Mindstudio.academy is where you can find our programs for developer education and certification. And again, Simon's website is aicreative.solutions.